phone was tightly held in her hand as she walked quickly across the tiled floor inside a large karaoke bar. She looked around for the room mentioned in the message from Ket. Once she found it, she pushed the door open and saw someone sitting there, staring blankly. A music video was playing softly in the background, and it seemed like the microphone hadn't even been picked up from the table-nearth TV screen. "What's up with you? Coming to a karaoke bar alone?" Mevika asked with a chuckle as she walked toward Awarin. "I didn't think you'd even have free time." Before she could finish, Awarin suddenly pulled her into a tight hug. Mevika stood frozen in surprise. Awarin was acting strangely, pressing her cheek against Mevika's stomach while she was still standing, not even bothering to sit down. That only made Mevika more curious. "Just let me stay like this for a bit." Mevika tilted her head, looking down at the girl speaking in a quiet, sad voice. "Are you okay?" Awarin didn't answer. She stayed silent for at least a minute, maybe two. Mevika had no idea what was wrong, but she let Awarin hold on to her. If she was feeling troubled and just needed someone to lean on, Mevika didn't mind. After a while, the silence felt too long, so Mevika finally spoke up. "What's wrong? Did something happen?" Awarin lifted her face to look at Mevika, resting her chin against her stomach. Her eyes were sad, blinking slowly. "I'm just feeling a little stressed. I just wanted someone to be here with me." She gave a small, sad smile. "You're stressed? About what?" "Can you tell me?" Mevika asked gently, her voice soft and careful. "I had a little conflict with my dad," Awarin said with a soft laugh. "Or maybe not so little, I don't know. I'm just trying to sort out my thoughts." "So I guess that means you can't tell me?" Mevika asked. She wasn't just being curious. After spending so much time around Awarin, she genuinely wanted to help. Awarin always seemed so positive, like she never had any worries. Seeing her stressed like this made Mevika wonder what could be bothering her so much. And honestly, she wanted Awarin to trust her enough to talk about it, even though they were technically rivals. "There's something I can tell you," Awarin said as she let go of the hug and took Mevika's hand, pulling her tosset beside her. Once they sat down, Awarin leaned her head on Mevika's shoulder. "The one thing my dad and I always argue about is him trying to set me up with men he thinks I might fall for. That's something I've never been ok with. At first, I thought he just wanted to see me married, have a family. Maybe he was worried that I'd spend my whole life working hard for him. Or maybe he wanted a grandchild to inherit my skills. But that's not real life main issue. It turns out he already knows I don't like men. When Wes started disagreeing on some things, we ended up arguing about this too. And yet he's known for a while now that I like women. He's known all along that I go to Anthea Bar a lot. Knows you go there." Mevika wondered if anyone had seen her there too. "When you were there. I mean before that. He must have known for a long time but pretended not to. He just kept trying to set me up with men, but it never worked. This is what you're having issues with him about. Once one problem starts, other arguments follow. Work got involved too, but I can't tell you everything about that. I guess I just dealt with too much from him today and it was exhausting. I needed to go somewhere, so I came here to drink. I didn't want to go back to the hotel or to my bar. And tonight, I'm not going back." "Then where are you going if you're not going back to the hotel?" "I don't know," Awarin said, sitting up straight. She turned to Mevika and smiled. "Maybe I'll sleep at your place." "You crazy?" Mevika wanted to scold her for joking at a time like this, but at the same time, she was glad to see Awarin smile, if only for a moment. But just as quickly as it appeared, the smile faded again. "I'm thinking of driving somewhere. I just need a little break. Tomorrow's a day off anyway, so I'll deal with everything later." "Driving somewhere? Where?" "Probably Patia, it's close." "With who? Are you going alone?" "Yeah, of course. Who else would be free to go with me all of a sudden like thighs?" Awarin laughed and stood up, so Mevika stood up too. "That's all I needed from you. I just wanted to see you for a bit. Thanks for coming. I won't bother you anymore tonight. You should head home. I'll go pay the bill." "You called me here just for that?" "Why? Do you want to stay with me again? You haven't been home for 2 nights, teased, wrapping an arm around Mevika's waist and poking her forehead gently. "Are you getting too attached to me?" she chuckled. "Go home tonight, okay? So your parents won't scold you." She pulled Mevika along, but instead of walking with her, Mevika stood still. Awarin stopped and turned around with a frown. "I'm not letting you go alone," Mevika said, grabbing Awarin's wrist. She looked at her seriously, her mind already made up. She hadn't needed long to decide, but she was sure of it. "Coming with you. We're going to the sea together, right? Then I'll go with you." "You're coming with me?" Awarin's frown deepened in surprise. She hadn't even dared to hope that Mevika would say something like that. "You mean right now?" MMHMM. Mevika nodded with a smile. Going with you. Awarin stared at her, surprised by the expression Mevika rarely showed, genuine care. Lately, Mevika had been more patient with her, and now she was showing real concern. She wanted to be with her, and Awarin wasn't going to say no. Mevika turned to look at Awarin, who was still smiling playfully. She sighed, shaking her head. And how exactly do you suggest we do that? Awarin glanced at her briefly before focusing back on the road. Maybe we stop dancing around it and just say it out loud. Mevika hesitated. What? That we're together. Awarin's tone was casual, but there was something deeper behind her words. That you like me, that I like you, simple as that. Mevika opened her mouth, then closed it again. She wasn't sure why she was hesitating. It wasn't like she didn't know how she felt. But putting it into words, making it real, was different. Seeing her pause, Awarin chuckled softly. Harder than it looks, huh? Mevika let out a breath, crossing her arms. It's not hard, I don't want to rush things. Awarin nodded, her expression understanding. Get it, and I'm not pushing you. I just want to know if you're thinking about it the same way I am. Mevika was quiet for a moment before finally speaking. I am. Awarin smiled, reaching over briefly to squeeze Mevika's hand. That's enough for now. And with that, they continued their drive toward the sea, the night air cool around them, the road ahead open and full of possibilities. We're really doing this right before we submit our bids for the most intense auction. Looks like it, Awarin laughed. So after the auction, we'll talk about this again, right? I think that would be better. All right then. We'll come back to it later. At least for now, we get to spend more time together. Awarin reached out her free hand while keeping the other on the wheel. Mevika placed her hand in Awarin, watching as their fingers intertwined. It was strange how something as simple as holding hands could make her heart race. It felt like a moment that couples shared. What did you tell your dad? Won't he be upset that you're not coming home? I sent him a message, Mevika replied, glancing at their joined hands. Honestly, I am a little worried. He might notice I haven't been home much lately. And now, suddenly, I'm leaving town too. But I wanted to come. I just wanted to do something for myself, for once. I've never really stepped out of line before. You saying you're stepping out of line because of me. Awarin chuckled as the car stopped at a red light. The streets were quiet with only a few cars passing by at this late hour. You sound like a spoiled girl. I am into women, Mevika smiled broadly. Awarin laughed, clearly amused. Did you just say that? I did, am I really like this now? I never imagined myself saying something like that. Mevika laughed at herself. Into me, Mevika, Awarin said, her voice playful but warm. Woman you're thinking of is me. She squeezed Mevika's hand gently before letting go of the wheel completely. Taking advantage of the red light, she reached out, cupped Mevika's jaw and leaned in. Then, she kissed her. Mevika kissed her back. There, at a quiet intersection, as they waited for the light to change, they shared a kiss, just the two of them, in their own little world. And just as the light turned green, they pulled away, breathless, just in time to keep moving forward. A soft laugh broke the silence, making the other person laugh along. It was a trip with no plan, yet it felt so freeing, like letting go of the heavy thoughts in their minds. Even though they enjoyed working so much that it never felt like a burden, taking a break made them realize that maybe they had been working too hard. Allowing themselves to rest and find comfort in someone else's presence was incredibly relaxing. It would be nice if every stressful day could end with a feeling like this. That would be real happiness. But for now, that was just a thought. This wasn't the time for them to have a clear answer, not until they made it through this intense competition. The sound of ocean waves greeted them the moment they opened the car door. Just hearing it for the first time filled them with excitement and a sense of peace. The car was parked along the road, right above a stretch of empty sand. The beach at night was quiet and private, yet it didn't feel lonely since they were near a hotel area with a bar and restaurants not too far away. Awarin shut the car door and quickly walked around to Mevika's side. She took her hand and led her toward the beach.